Hey guys, my name is Jamie Beaton and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Crimson Education. And today, I'm going to be answering some of the most common questions we get asked from students from Indonesia. Let's get into it. So the first question is, if you have Olympiad medals and you have near perfect grades in the A-levels or the IB, is that enough to get into the world's best universities like the Ivy League and the US top 10? The short answer is generally no. This last cycle alone, we had about 85 kids around the world getting into the Ivy League. And actually, the vast majority of them didn't have Olympiad medals, although many of them had near perfect scores in the A-levels or the IB. The application process requires much more than just these achievements. You need 10 extracurriculars, you need leadership achievements both in your high school and in your community, and you also need innovative, creative application essays that really get these admissions officers thinking and remembering you. Finally, there are interviews where you speak to alumni, and how you convey yourself, your interests, your personality is a big factor in gaining admission. Of course, an Olympiad medal, like for example my student Zong Huang, who got into schools like Caltech and MIT with a silver medal in the Biology Olympiad, or Ben Zhang, who's now a Harvard medical student having won the gold medal in the Biology Olympiad. Their application was boosted by these amazing credentials, but that alone isn't enough to get you in. So as a student, you can't stop there. You want to keep going. But also for students who don't have Olympiad medals, don't worry, because so many kids get in without them, it's not the break or make part of the application process. Next question we often get asked is, I've got perfect grades, but so do many students all around the world. How do I actually stand out and get into these top universities if there are so many other students just like me? The first thing is, if you actually have perfect grades in that you've got a very strong SAT score and you've got good scores in things like the A-levels and the IB, that is a really strong step in the right direction, because there are many high school students who haven't been able to achieve that. The next thing is, you're actually not competing with kids from all around the world normally. You're actually competing with kids from Indonesia and from some of the neighboring countries that are in the same application pool for certain universities. The way you can also stand out on top of this is to show your intellectual curiosity through things like research papers in high school, interesting work experience, projects based on social impact themes you're curious about. One of my kids, Artie, just got into Yale, Stanford, and Wharton by doing an economics review podcast where he in high school interviewed about 120 different academics around the world, showcasing his passion for economics. Finally, these application essays aren't all about academics. In my own case, for example, I worked for a local chicken burger shop. I was cooking burgers, chicken nuggets, fried tenders, and I was terrible at it, and it made for a funny, comical essay that really caught the attention of the Harvard admissions office. It's strategies like this that you can use to stand out from other kids with super strong grades around the world. We're excited to help you find out what your edge could be in the admissions process. The next question is, what are the factors that differentiate students in the application process? So the application process involves academics, extracurriculars and leadership, essays and interviews. Roughly, for a school like Stanford, about 40% of the process is academics, 30% is extracurriculars, and 30% are essays and interviews. Now, to stand out in this process, you've got to have good grades, but you also want to have some interesting entrepreneurial leadership projects, academic achievements that show your curiosity beyond the school curriculum. For example, one of my students, Lucas Lee, who's actually now a Harvard graduate working in Wall Street, took classes in high school in things like behavioral economics, as well as corporate finance that were outside of his traditional school curriculum. Other students of mine, like Helen Wu, who went to Stanford and then to Microsoft and is now an entrepreneur, took extra classes in things like business studies and economics outside of her school curriculum. Here are some of the criteria that actually help these students to stand out. If you want to get your personal questions answered and to have tailored admissions advice to help you figure out what you need to do to get into the world's top universities in the US and UK, click on the link below and we'll figure out exactly what it will take to get you into your dream university. Cool, all right. Good stuff, guys.